Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are doing a mission that Darius did not tell us was going to be difficult, and so I've been concerned this entire time. There was a Perseus up on this ridge that was just hammering us with incredibly accurate fire. We did manage to get him taken down, but he did a bunch of damage to our grasshopper, who are currently trying to disengage. We were ambushed out over here by a Merrick hunchback, a pair of nidhogg's, and an archer. Now, do we want to start firing at these? The answer is yes. I want to waste some of their AMS. Not that this is likely to hit, but I definitely want to start chipping through some of the Nidhogg AMS.
All weapons are closed.
There we go. 14 from 25 hit by AMS. So they're going to do a lot of damage in this first round. The question is to whom? I'd love to see them go after this Griffin. That would be kind of ideal. Or go after our allied Ifrit. That would be nice as well. But this is going to be a bit of a tough one. Hang on. This Nidhogg just didn't move. This is now a huge target. Okay, so our crossbow needs to get into cover here. We're going to position it here, and we're going to fire on this Nidhogg. Now, it does still have its AMS, but we're going to see what gets through. Quite a bit got through that. That's a good sign. Okay, so next up is going to be our allied Griffin. I want to see it continue to hit this Nidhogg. It went for the rear arc on the hunchback. I don't love that choice. I mean, I get the rear arc, but it's got 12 evasive. I don't think that's a good idea. Next up is going to be this Nidhogg, which we've already triggered its AMS once. It's got the HVAC 20 and the quad missile pods. Let's see what it does. Maybe it goes for our crossbow. Maybe it goes for this Griffin. Maybe it goes for no one at all. Okay, the AI has been doing this with heavy bombers. I think that's probably a bug. Hopefully that's something they're going to fix in the next version. So it's definitely not ideal. So we can fire on either of these. Which one is better hit odds? They are identical. I'm going to fire on the Nidhogg bomber here. I feel like this is probably the higher threat unit. And I'm going to take this over here. We want to overwhelm its AMS here as best we can and just do a bunch of damage to its side arc there.
It's getting pretty hot in here, Commander.
So it's definitely weakening. So next up is going to be this hunchback. The hunchback is a low priority target right now. Ow. I would prefer it if it didn't go for the grasshopper. Thank you very much.
That shot went internal.
Yeah, it did. The archer moves up and also goes for the grasshopper. Now, we never had a chance to respond with the grasshopper there. The clustering was pretty good, but it all hit armor.
Damage, Commander.
So that's a good sign.
Yes,
Next
Commander.
up, our grasshopper gets to move, and we definitely don't want to expose anything. I'm going to move it behind this rock, and we're just going to brace it. Okay, next up is our Marauder. I want the Marauder to close in over here, and we're continuing to rain fire on this Nidhogg. Quite a lot of damage to the Nidhogg there. Looks good. Next up is our Black Knight, and the Black Knight is quite far away, but we're going to move it in, and we're going to also fire on this Nidhogg with our large lasers. We could shoot it down, and we did. Beautiful. That is one of the two gone.
Go down.
And that's a lot of the threat out of here. Turrets going live. They're friendly. Okay, so the turrets are on our side, but they're not going to fire until after everything else here does. So next up is going to be the Ifrit. What's that going to go for? Nothing at all. Okay, so we don't really benefit from that one. We're going to move in perhaps to rear arc on this Nidhogg. You know what? Let's do it. Let's position rear arc here, and we're going to light this thing up. We're looking to overwhelm its AMS. And we got a little bit of damage in there, but it mostly AMS. Now, it's going to get to attack here, almost certainly. But our crossbow is going to step back over here.
Copy that.
And we're going to also go for the Nidhogg with SAM LRMs.
Giving them everything I've got.
Once again, it AMSs about half of those. but it's going to run out of AMS very soon. It cannot sustain this kind of a beating. The Griffin is going for the Hunchback. I don't love that choice, but I guess. Sure. Now the Nidhogg moves, and this is kind of danger zone. It's not tremendously dangerous, I think. It could do a lot of damage to us. We'll see what it decides to do, if anything. It goes for the sniper artillery emplacement. You know what? Fair enough, but it doesn't destroy it. It also didn't move, so it's not going to survive for much longer. The Hunchback moves up and goes for the heavy mortar turret, again on the fair enough. But it's not really a good choice. So our Bandersnatch is going to step over here. We're not going to fire our lasers this time. We don't want to take that massive overheat. We're just going to fire our missiles, and it's not great in terms of these hit odds, but we'll see what we've got.
Here we go.
That was pretty good clustering in the front there. So that went okay. No doubt about that.
I'm ready.
Next up, our Black Knight can move in. We have rear arc on this Hunchback. You know what? Let's take it.
Targeting enemy cushion.
Got some internal damage there. I like it. Now that archer moves and fires at the heavy mortar turret. It destroys it. That's fine. We really don't mind it destroying the heavy mortar turret. That's okay. Next up is going to be our Grasshopper, and the Grasshopper is just going to keep hiding behind the rock.
Roger. Venting heat and stabilizing.
Okay, so now our Marauder can move into rear arc here, but this is kind of minimum range for the UAC-5, so I'd rather position about here. And let's light up this ninja. Structure exposure there, but we only hit like 2 damage into the internals. Now that heavy LBX hits the Hunchback. Ooh, another good hit on the Hunchback there. But they did already destroy some turrets.
How can I help?
So the Centaur is probably going to look to get into rear arc of this archer here.
Roger.
At this point. So we're going to do that, and we're going to light him up. I don't think we're going to destroy it without the LRMs and without a melee.
Aye, aye.
But we'll see what we get done there. Now, structure exposure. Ooh. Okay, we did pure armor damage. Okay. No internal at all whatsoever there. The Ifrit is still falling back, and we'll see what the enemy Nidhogg ends up doing here. It's almost shot down. So it's only at best going to get 1 solid attack on us, but it might decide to attack one of these turrets, which we would love to see. Yeah, it went for the sniper artillery emplacement again. Beautiful. So that means that their heavy bombers get to deal 0 damage in total to us. That's them misusing them, to be clear. That's not their heavy bombers being bad. They're just not doing this correctly. So we did a lot of armor damage with that attack on the Nidhogg. I would have definitely preferred to see it get shot down there, but we hit almost exclusively here. The Griffin jumps and also fires on the Nidhogg, but it does manage to take it down with its large pulse laser. Cool. So now all that's left is the mechs, the Archer and the Hunchback. The Archer moves forward and fires on our Bandersnatch. Cool. The Bandersnatch is more than fine with that. And now the Hunchback is going to move. We'll see what it wants to do. It almost certainly doesn't want to have its back turned to us anymore. Moving up over there and firing on the Ifrit? Okay, sure. Why not? That's a reasonable call. Assuming that the Ifrit actually starts attacking again. It's still got that thumper, right? So it's out of bombs, but that's fine. So our Black Knight cannot get into LOS. We'll just move forward.
I'm receiving you.
Our Grasshopper still hides. Absolutely.
Confirmed.
And our Bandersnatch does have access to side arc on this Hunchback.
Got it.
I think we take that. Absolutely. Do we fire any medium lasers here? Maybe these two? Yes.
Firing on target.
Pretty decent shot there, making the Hunchback unsteady. So the LBX turret is probably going to do a lot to that Hunchback. The Marauder is... Can it get into position to attack this Archer at all? Up over here? Or we could attack side arc on the Hunchback.
Roger that. Full speed.
And that's what we're taking. Okay, so heavy damage to that Hunchback.
Solid connection, that one.
I like it. Next up, the LBX decides to go for the Archer. I guess that's okay. And phase 25 will be the Ifrit. I'd like to see it get turned around and attack the Hunchback here. It is turning around. It went for the Archer. Okay. I guess that's fine. Our Centaur is going to want to move into rear arc of this Archer again. And I guess we'll position here, despite the flames.
Copy that.
This is going to be our last round of SRMs, but we could easily destroy the Archer.
Affirmative.
And we did. Beautiful. So the Archer is out of here, and at this point,
SRMs are out.
that Hunchback is all that remains, and it's not going to last long. That was an engine crit right there from the Griffin. It hasn't moved yet, but it's going to move right now. Backs off, fires at the LBX turret. All it's got is that medium laser. Although its UAC-20 was jammed, but we destroyed all of its ammo, so that's absolutely fine. The crossbow is going to move up. There is no way the Hunchback survives this.
Target confirmed.
Kaboom. So that definitely started awkwardly, but then they misused their heavy bombers extremely significantly, and that gave us a significant advantage. They could have done a lot of damage. I'm not convinced that the heavy bombers could have, like, caused us to fail the mission, but they certainly could have done extraordinarily heavy damage with those. The turrets coming online in our favor was lucky. If they had come online in the enemy's favor, that would have gone significantly more sideways. No doubt about that. And if the turrets in the upper position had come online in the enemy's favor as well, that could have been very bad. So we got a little bit lucky there. That Perseus did a lot of damage from its firing position on the ridge. That guy was a fantastic shot. He just had incredible clustering at very, very long ranges. So good for him, right? That's absolutely fine. Now, I believe we want some of these Nidhogg parts. Correct? We wanted to put together a heavy bomber for sure. I want to check to see, what was it that we had? Was it Ifrit or was it Nidhogg that we were ready to do? Almost ready to do. Well, there's a Seth that we've got 4 out of 5 parts for. Okay. And then the Nidhogg is, I believe... Yeah, that's a 45-tonner. So, checking in down over here, the Nidhogg is... We're past it. Where would the Nidhogg be? I'm sure we have Nidhogg parts. Right? We have to. Maybe we don't. Yeah, we do. Right here. We've got 1. Okay. I am going to take 2 Nidhogg parts here, I think, and hope that we can get a full-on Nidhogg. That would be absolutely phenomenal if we could. We'll just see what we get out of the roulette. We will need to get 2 more Nidhogg parts. We got 1. Okay. Safe MRM ammo is, I guess, okay. A couple of ER medium lasers. That Perseus part, just 1 part, but sure. I would have definitely preferred to get another Nidhogg part. We'll double check that we don't have any of those ready to go. We're getting really close to having some heavy bombers online. If we encounter another Nidhogg, or if we encounter another stealth, we should have it. I think we have Ifrit parts as well. I would just love to get some heavy bombers online, because we know how effective those can be when used correctly. And the AI doesn't use them correctly. I want to be in control of the Nidhoggs. That is the way of things. So we're going to have to get a lot of repairs done here. No doubt about it, particularly on the Grasshopper. That also ended up losing a heatsink. So we're going to have to manually repair the Grasshopper. I think everything else is fine, but the Grasshopper will need to be canceled. And we'll have to manually repair that. So let's hop into the mech bay here. I'm pretty sure we don't yet have a heavy bomber online, but let's double check that. So going through here, we know that the Seth is a 55-tonner, and that's all relatively fine. I want to check in on the Nidhoggs here. So yeah, we have 4 total Nidhogg parts. Sad. And then as far as Ifrits go, I believe Ifrits... What tonnage are Ifrits? I don't actually know. But I'm pretty sure we have parts for them as well. I don't think they're this light. Regardless, we're getting very close to having some heavy bombers here. Okay, so we're going to need to refit the Grasshopper here. It absolutely took some damage. And we're going to max the armor here. There we go. We're going to need to repair both of these torsos, and yeah, we lost a heatsink. So that's absolutely fine. We don't necessarily mind losing a heatsink. That could have gone far worse. It's kind of lucky it didn't, to be honest. No, I don't want to leave this. I want to validate this. Confirm. Okay, so we did make some money out of it, and that could have gone far, far worse than it did. It also could have gone a little bit better. No doubt about that, but for the time being, this is fine. So let's move the Epimetheus up to the top, and we'll put the Grasshopper here as well, and we'll just get these done. So those will take a little bit of time. We'll get our mech warriors back, and we'll just get these repairs finished. Now, there's our weather monitoring systems done. We're going to need another engineering upgrade, but we're through the expensive engineering upgrades at this point. We can bump up our we can bump up our drop tonnage if we wanted to. I don't think that's our major constraint right now. Maybe we go for like drive upgrades, which would allow us to bump up our tonnage, but I really don't think that's what we need right now. I guess we can get a vehicle slot because, you know, we have so many vehicles to put in those slots. We're working on it. For the time being, we're going to continue to tick forward. That's a very quick upgrade. No doubt about that. So that's done, and now we're going to need another engineering upgrade. So at this point, we're constrained up here by our drive system. We could certainly get that going.
All right, I'll get the team on it right
So
away.
we just spent another 1,000,000 C-bills on that. So that's, you know, fun. The Grasshopper is now completed, and we'll buy the minimum to restock. Okay, that'll be fine. Cool. So at this point, the Epimetheus Prime is still 13 days away. Our financial report is 9 days away. We definitely should deploy another time before the financial report. Let's hop into the barracks. We've got a little bit of extra time here. So let's make sure we're completely ready to deploy. And I guess we maybe could check to see if there's something super quick, like a solo or duo duel. Hard case, you can grab a point of gunnery. That'll be fine.
What can I do?
Talk to me.
Klisk, you can grab a point of gunnery as well. That looks good.
You've got my
And what else do we have here?
Yes, Commander.
Romeo, we're not choosing yet. Okay, that all looks good. So let's hop into the command center. It's slightly early to put a cut in. I'm just going to check through here and see if we have a really, really fast mission. One that we can guarantee is fast, like a solo or duo duel. This is a duo duel here. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely do a duo duel. So what 2 mechs would we want to bring? We would probably want to run this at least here. It's basically a free priority salvage. And obviously we want to bring our Centaur. Beyond that, we could bring, say, the Grasshopper. We could bring a Marauder. The Marauder might not be a bad idea. It's a decent brawling mech, and once it gets closed in, it's absolutely okay. So this might not be a bad idea to go with something like this. Let's do this real quick here. I'll be back after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are loaded up, and let's dive right on into this. Hopefully we can get this one done real quick. Let's see what we've got.
Initiated.
Okay. Strong wind, yep, that's all fine. So we're going to need to head up over this direction. We've got this nice cliff here that we can use to approach.
Copy that.
So that seems reasonably okay. No sign of them on our sensors just yet. We just entered combat, though.
Talk to me.
So let's put our Centaur up here as a scout and see what we can see.
Confirmed.
We see an Awesome and a Salamander. Okay, those guys are pretty big. No doubt about that. The Salamander is definitely a good Centaur target. Okay, let's see what they do here. So the Awesome moves out, fires on the Centaur. It does hit a little bit there, which is, of course, rude, but not shocking. The Salamander also positions up over here. Now, our Marauder is not really in a spot to help out at this moment. We're just going to continue to advance up over this way. Next, our Centaur wants to get into rear arc of this Salamander as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, we don't quite make rear arc here, so I think we're going to end up positioning here and firing side arc on this salamander. Softening it up a little bit, but it's mostly that rear arc that we're concerned about. So the salamander moves forward, fires indirect, I believe, on the marauder. For the moment, that's fine. The marauder is kind of acting as a distraction. The awesome moves out over here and doesn't fire. An interesting choice, to be sure. Our marauder is going to move forward, and we'll just pot shot this awesome. At that range, we don't do a lot of damage, and with it braced and in cover, but that's absolutely fine. So next up, we want to get into rear arc of this salamander. We could theoretically kill it with this salvo, but we'll need okay clustering. That didn't look like good clustering. In fact, that looked like pretty crappy clustering. So the salamander definitely took some damage there. Fired in close range at our centaur and got very little done. Okay.
That was sloppy, lad.
So the awesome is going to turn around and also fire on the centaur in minimum range there. And it did a fair amount of damage to the centaur. No doubt about that.
You're gonna regret that.
Next up, our marauder really can't get anywhere, so we can position it up over here. It's blocked by this outcropping.
Orders.
And our centaur has a couple of options. We want to keep our evasive up, right? So we can absolutely get in behind this salamander and finish him off. And 7 evasive is the best we've got.
Moving out.
Okay. Light him up.
Aye, aye.
So that's 1 dead unit. I like it. We'll see what the awesome decides to do here. It moves forward. Ow. Those pulse lasers, though. SRM ammo destroyed. Oh, no. That's what I was hoping to avoid. This guy has so many pulse lasers, though. Okay, so our marauder needs to get into a position where it can actually help out. That would be ideal. Okay, so next up, our centaur needs to get in and physical weapon attack the awesome. It could destroy it here, but I think it's pretty unlikely. Ooh, especially with missing that physical attack. That's bad, actually. That's really, really bad. Luckily, we don't lose our evasive. But missing that physical was really not good. Ow. We're losing so much ammo right now.
I've taken worse.
No, you haven't.
Bastards took one
That
of
was
my guns.
really, really bad. So, we don't have a way to replace that ammo, remember. We simply cannot do it. Okay, we're going to soften up this awesome a little bit here. But we got to get in behind this guy.
Orders.
Losing our centaur is... Well, we're not losing the centaur here. We're losing some capability of the centaur. We've lost it before. We did manage to hit that melee. But losing that centaur capability is really very bad. So he gets to move again. And this is going to be really painful at this point. Actually, that was almost all armor there.
They punched through my defenses.
And then he failed his shutdown override. Okay, so unfortunately, we can't get behind him.
Yes, Commander.
What we can do is we can position our marauder here
Roger that.
and light him up in this side arc. Or maybe try to get the leg.
All weapons.
And that's what we're going to do. So we light him up over here.
Our house around.
And now we get to move again. And we're going to hit the awesome in this side arc, the same weakened side arc.
Follow my lead.
Physical attack, and we do hit that.
Follow my lead.
That's a leg destruction, I think. Lower leg destruction. Okay, that's a leg destruction. So now he's going to get a knockdown.
LRMs are out.
So he's turned off, and he's knocked down. Losing our ammo there is really rough. No doubt about that. He gets up, and he restarts. Then our marauder can close in up over here
Moving to position.
and continue to light him. Okay, that's more internal damage there.
Scored a critical hit.
He's still right against the map edge here, so we can't get in behind him. But what we can do is continue to melee him on this weakened side.
To hell with the weapons.
And there we go.
Follow my lead.
Well, Losing Centaur ammo is very painful. We cannot change the weapons on the Centaur,
Battle mech.
and we also cannot replace that ammo. So, we might have a use for the crossbow now. We might end up having to replace the Centaur. What happens if we put it in storage and re-ready it? Surely that ammo doesn't come back, right? Surely it doesn't. But I do think that that's definitely an interesting option, is swapping out the Centaur, because I feel like, yes, the Centaur is powerful. It's also, we're getting into the difficulty where the Centaur is at risk for things like that. And I mean, we did win it, but at what cost, right? It's painful. No doubt about that. So, I mean, we don't actually get this full awesome. It would be neat to, but we do not. We could take just this endosteel structure. Sure. And we get 2 awesome parts. We don't have any awesome parts already, but that's fine. So as far as the Centaur goes, we can't change its weapons. We do not have any proto-mech weapons, and nor are we or rather, we don't have any proto-mech ammo, nor are we likely to find any. So that is an argument for switching out the Centaur. It also tends to outrun our current mechs. There's no doubt about that. It's useful, but we'll need to see just how much damage we took there. We lost a lot of ammo to those pulse lasers. Those pulse lasers were painful. So the Centaur might have to get retired here. It's not the end of the world. We got a lot of mileage out of that Centaur. No doubt about that. And if we have to retire it, that's fine. Let's see what it's like. Yes, 122k, that's almost entirely going to be from the Centaur. So I'm going to cancel the Centaur repair here. And let's take a look at what this will end up looking like. Just real quick. So if we do end up deciding to retire the Centaur, we can outfit the crossbow for a similar sort of backstabby role. I mean, it's going to end up being very close to the grasshopper, probably. But we can repair that. So we end up losing 36 rounds of LRM ammo and 20 rounds of SRM ammo. That is absolutely painful. No doubt about that. And there's not really anything we can do about that. We cannot remove the weaponry here. And we can't replace this with, like, generic ammo. This is specifically proto-mech ammo. It can only be used on proto-mechs, and these proto-weapons here, they only utilize proto-mech weapons, or proto-mech ammo. It says they're identical to normal LRMs, but it only uses proto-mech ammo. We know this. So, we have 36 rounds of LRM ammo and 20 shots of SRM ammo. We should probably spread these out so that they're not both on the same mech. We also have 20 rounds of SRM ammo down here. This has definitely taken some damage. There's no doubt about that, and we have no real way to replenish the ammo. I wish that we did. I absolutely wish that we did. But instead, we're just tossing more armor into it overall. And I want to drop these down to like 130. So this would need to be like maybe 125. Yeah, something like this. Except this could be moved up, and then this one could be moved down. Although we could also make them be lower armor, except where our ammo is. So I think we're maybe not quite ready to get rid of our proto-mechs yet. But it's getting close. So it'll be something kind of like this. Okay, let's validate that. And our Centaur is going to be lesser of a thing. For now, I'm not ready to retire it. We'll see how it goes. Our ammo will be even more constrained. That's probably fine. But eventually the Centaur will no longer be a thing. Eventually we'll probably want to move the crossbow into a similar sort of role. Now, I don't know what kind of engine we could possibly put in this thing. I'd like to get a real... Oh, this is very small. Okay. I'd like to get a very large engine inside of this. And this is going to end up being, you know, something like a The best we have right now is a 280. But something like this, and then using these Omni hardpoints, and just trying to get the movement on this relatively up, but it's not going to be super high. For now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to utilize the Centaur, but we'll be evaluating it for retirement fairly soon. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.